and then there's just gonna be more and more. And then it was like, I don't know how to miss our time. I don't know if it's better or not. I'm not sure. But they can come to anyways, hope to see in the future. But
and of course, we were supposed to interview for that Tunisian Christmas gift to Tunisia for Christmas. And luckily we ended up not taking that because that actually I was going to go there back.
So, I mean, we've talked a lot.
The defeat of Japan. Japan surrendered to what country?
The United States.
USSR? Ukraine? Finland? No, it was USA. But before the surrender of Japan, US Army calculated that Japan would continue the war at least one more year, considering the resource and stubbornness of Japan. So, US Army, our USA requested the involvement of Soviet Union, which was concentrating in Europe. So Soviets declared war against Japan. It was only 1 week before the surrender of Japan. Japan surrendered on the 15th August of 1945, and the day of the World War II. But it was a sudden surrender of Japan. Why? Because of the atom bomb. You see, 2 atom bombs, one to Hiroshima, the other to Nagasaki. And Japan surrendered unconditionally, and they accepted occupation of their whole territory by US Army. And now, Korean Peninsula left alone because unfortunately Korea was under the rule of Japan at the time. Japan could end Korea's last kingdom in 1910. They could control whole Korea for 35 years until their defeat in the World War II. So, with the defeat of Japanese army, Korean Peninsula fell to the status of power vacuum. And while US Army was too busy in Japan to accept the whole occupation of there, Soviet Army came down. With no resistance of the Japanese Army, Soviet Red Army came down to Manchuria, and they were approaching the north side of the Korean Peninsula. So US at this time requested the negotiation. USA demanded the talking or negotiation, and the result of the talking was division of Korean Peninsula. Of course, US did not intend to divide the nation and occupy the south, but it seems to me Soviet Union must have a special intention to occupy the whole Korean Peninsula. So they welcomed the proposal of USA to divide the nation and to control the places before the reunification. So, with the end of the World War II, Korean Peninsula divided. The first division line at the time was 38th parallel north. 38th parallel is exactly halfway between North Korea and South Korea. And to the north, Soviet Army came down to make it communist nation. To the south, US Army came over here to support free capitalist government. There was a division with the end of the World War II. And in 5 years, North Army came down with Soviet tanks. It was the beginning of the Korean War. So, after the 3-year war, DMZ has been created to replace the original division line of 38th line. So DMZ is the result of the Korean War, which lasted for 3 years, from 1950 to 1953. So here, DMZ is down there, but before that, there is a civilian control area. DMZ in principle has no weapon system, no soldiers. Actually, we have. But real fortification has been made on both sides of DMZ, and we have civilian control area, which is military area for the deployment of weapon system. So we are approaching now the civilian control area before the DMZ, and here is first checkpoint controlled by South Army. And I am going to report to the soldier our arrival over here, and he will permit us to enter the civilian control area and then tunnel over there. So we'll meet at the tunnel over there. And since we have another bus behind of us, I get to the bus to go over the historical background of division, and then we'll meet at the tunnel area. Okay, there. Okay. Now I'll leave you for the time for about 5 minutes, and we'll meet over there again. Okay. Thank you. Good time. 땅굴에서 만납니다. 아, 예, 안녕하세요.
On the Palestinian side. Oh, this is what so you can see what's inside. So see up top there, you start there and you come down the hill. So like that's me like in the blue bathing suit and I was in the changes. You kind of stop at the end, they have kind of a thing where you automatically stop. Wow.
Sorry, I did drive myself.
We're the police now.
Oh yeah.
Did you need somebody?
Yeah, no, we have some time. It didn't really.
And you don't want to drive here.
No, it would be kind of like going to in China.
Yeah.
We would have a guide from 8 a.m. to
Yep.
8 or 9 a.m. every night. So
Yep.
although you can take
It's so funny that there's podcasts on this chapter. He went to the other side, I think, to get the same.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, my whole connection is, you know, these provocations, it just serves one purpose, you know, selling more arms to sell. Yeah, basically, it's also that.
Yeah, I was trying to get back to China this week.
Berlin, it was pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, it was just really cool to have interviewed a lot of
I know it's not that.
I mean, that's a little bit
I mean, so recent. Yeah. Stuff that I know. So far away from the U.S. So it means it's
But obviously hard to do
that's a little bit
you know, these past couple weeks.
They don't need perception to take photos.
No, you don't.
Oh, but you're saying like there's no cell coverage?
Exactly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just please feel free to fill in this area. Just remember not to go below the steps, or please don't go past the raised tiles to your left and to your right. But welcome to Conference Road, the official meeting place between North and South Korea. All these blue buildings you see here belong to the UNC or United Nations Command, while all these gray or silver buildings belong to the KPA or North Korea. You are allowed to take pictures at this time, but we ask that you do not take any pictures of the JDO building, which is the tall blue building to your far right, the Republic of Korea's Freedom House, which is located directly to your rear, or UNC Checkpoint 3, which is off to your left. So basically only pictures towards North Korea. Sorry about that. But in any case, starting from your right, the JDO building, the Joint Duty Officer building, the tall blue building houses the Joint Duty Officer. The JDO is currently a U.S. naval officer, and he serves as an official representative for the United Nations Command Military Armistice Commission. And he's the one who conducts official communication between the KPA and the UNC. Across from the JDO building, on top of the little hill, we have a 3-story tan tower. This is KPA guard post number 2, and it's currently monitoring us at this time. Once again, please do not point, wave, gesture, or communicate with the North Koreans in any way. At the base of the hill of KPA tower number 2, you'll be able to see the white stakes standing at 1 meter in height, spaced at 1 meter interval, or 10 meter intervals. These white stakes represent the MDL within this area, and further extend through Conference Row, bisecting each of the buildings with the 17 by 5 inch concrete slabs. But starting on the right, the first gray building on Conference Row, this is KPA Recreational Facility. It is ironically named this because it actually houses no recreational equipment whatsoever, and is seldom used by North Koreans. However, when it is in use, it's generally when you have talks between high-ranking individuals, in which North Korea will station 10 to 20 armed soldiers inside. While inside, these soldiers usually like to point and wave at us and make derogatory gestures towards us. The next building on Conference Row, T3, this building is used by JDO for staff officer level and colonel officer level talks. The next building, T2, the Military Armistice Commission building, we will be able to visit this building shortly where you'll receive a separate briefing. Next building is the T1, and it's used by a Neutral Nation Supervisory Commission camp for daily and weekly meetings. And the last building on Conference Row is used to be used by the former Czechoslovakia and Polish Neutral Nations camp. However, it's no longer in use. And behind Conference Row, we have North Korea's Visitor Welcoming Center, or the Panmunjom. It also serves as a 2-man guard post. You'll notice the one lone soldier outside the doorway. He is a North Korean, and we have named him Bob. He stands out there all day. You'll notice the third soldier, Panmunjom, is actually different from the rest of the building. That's because in 1994, North Korea reconstructed the Panmunjom to stand taller than the original Freedom House, which once stood behind you. However, our Freedom House is now bigger. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please continue taking photographs, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
If you remember your slide brief, you were told that upon arriving here, you will be surrounded on 3 sides by communist North Korea. I will show you at this time. If you look to your right, about 50 meters, you will see a yellow and black panel marker. It's kind of faded due to time, but this yellow and black panel marker, the tree line forms a 90-degree angle. The MDL makes an abrupt left. Now you have a better idea on how you're surrounded on 3 sides by communist North Korea. If you look directly to the front, approximately 1,000 meters or 2,000 meters, you will see a J-shaped dirt road. This is the northern portion of the DMZ. It's approximately 2,000 meters from where you stand now. If you look to your front right, you will see another North Korean guard tower. This is KPA Guard Post 5. Once again, it is monitoring us at this time, and once again, do not point, wave, or gesture towards North Korea. To the left of KPA Guard Post 5, you can see cluster of buildings with a long blue roof building. This was the former Czechoslovakia and Polish Neutral Nations camp. If you look to directly at your front, you will see an A-frame building. This building is the North Korean's Peace Museum. It is named this ironically for it houses 2 of the axes used in the 1976 axe murder incident. You can see a blue building and a tan building. In between is the bridge of no return. So blue building is United Nation Command Checkpoint 3. The tan building is KPA Guard Post 7, which is still manned 24 hours a day. United Nations Command Checkpoint 4 is no longer used because everything that can be seen from United Nations Command Checkpoint 4 can easily be seen by United Nations Command Checkpoint 3 directly behind it. The large grassy area in front of United Nations Command Checkpoint 4 It was the focal point of the 1976 axe murder. To the right of the large grassy area, you may see a gap in the trees. This was the location of the large yellow poplar tree. You can see how a large tree can obstruct the visibility of the two checkpoints. To your left, you will see the Gijangdong or propaganda building. We know most of the buildings are fake here because most of the doors and windows are actually painted on. When the village is brightly lit up at night, the top floor is bright, and with each floor below, the light gets dimmer. This indicates that there are actually no floors in some of the buildings. The flag is flying pretty well today. It takes a large gust of wind to get the flag flying because it has a dry weight of 600 pounds. Very inclement weather, this flag must be lowered, otherwise it would tear under its own weight. Beyond checkpoint 4, silhouetted against the horizon, you will see a large tower. This is a North Korean jamming tower used to prevent outside radio television signals from entering North Korea. North Korea uses towers such as this one along all their borders in an attempt to cut their people off from the outside world. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my tour of the United Nations Command Checkpoint 3. You may take pictures, but do not take pictures of the United Nations Command Checkpoint 3 directly behind you. Please stay within the chain area and